played ball. I made All-State in Clarksdale at Oklahoma Community College. I was a pretty good high school kid. I went to Kentucky, had a good junior year. Then a kid came in as a new coach. I didn't get kicked off the team because I took where I was from to where I was. Mm-hmm. Because now you got to start thinking about your talent won't take you where your character can keep you. Mm-hmm. My character couldn't keep me there because only my talent got me there. And through that experience, I can go tell somebody about you got to have your mind right. Ain't nobody gonna put up with you just because you can dribble. Ain't nobody gonna put up with you just because you can jump. Because a lot of time when we teach kids that sports is the only way out, when they reach a point where somebody go use them up as in sport, they end up right back where we from. Most of them do. Yeah. Because they count on the discipline part of it, the hard work part of it, because somebody told them their talent was going to take them there instead of their character going to keep them there. And I try to teach character first. Talent going to come because God gave you the gift. But your character, that will help you get in.
She comes from the south and she's making her way. For the latest news, click on her page. She's the new way. The Aallyah Wright Show gon' lead the way. Passion, purpose, people, flair. Uplift one another and have confidence anywhere. God is great. Love, pray. Dedication and motivation. We gon' give you the news today. Let's go.
What's up? What's up? You are now tuned in to the Aallyah Wright Show with your host, me, Aallyah. Today is yet another day where I'll help you figure out how to show up, show out, and make meaningful steps towards your personal transformation through powerful conversations with everyday people. Every episode, we share stories that connect purpose, passion, and people. We're all about alignment, intention, and elevation over here. So grab your coffee, your glass of wine, and let's get right to the point. Okay, so today's guest is near and dear to my heart, and you will find out why throughout this conversation. But most importantly, the work he has done to transform so many lives, including mine, is just crucial and vital to why he's a part of this podcast. For nearly 20 years, he has coached both football and basketball from Oakhurst Middle School to Coahoma Agriculture High School, aka Aggie, and Coahoma Community College. During his career, he has had winning seasons, which earned him and his team a district championship back in 2014. And while he uses sports as a tool to empower his players, his core values of hard work, perseverance, discipline, and drive has carried through to almost all, if not every student he has ever come in contact with. And aside from his professional roles, he is a father, a husband, and respected leader to many. Last but not least, he is an alumni of one of the best HBCUs in the state and the country, Alcorn State University. Please help me welcome Coach Micheal Stringer. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. God is good to me. I'm doing fine. Just glad to be here. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you for wanting to be a part of this. I know for me, your life's work has been dedicated to helping young people through your role as an educator, as a coach, and also as a spiritual leader. And as I mentioned in the introduction, to have this conversation with you is just so important and meaningful to me on so many levels. And it's also a full circle moment for me because I remember, and I'm sure you remember this too, I wrote an article in sixth grade and you were the first person to tell me that not only you believed in my writing, but that I should keep going. And it has been your words of encouragement, in addition to a few other people along this journey, that has kept me in this space of writing, which is now, I'm a journalist now. And it's like you can see things in people that they don't see in themselves. Where did your love for helping people come from? And did your upbringing play a role in that?
I feel like your upbringing always play a role, and I think it builds a foundation. I came from a caring family. My mom was caregiver. She gave her heart to the city, gave her heart to people. My mom's side and my father's side both were loving and caring people, always looked out for other people as well. So I think I happen to be accustomed to those things because that's the way I was raised. That's the only thing I know. So, but I honestly believe as a quote that we always live, you always give. You only get if you give. So I think coming from a family background, always giving and giving and giving, I think that's a blessing from God, and I think everybody needs to grab a hold to that because giving, that's what we need to do to get back. And like sometimes God don't bless to you, it's through you. So a lot of my experience and my lifestyle and things where I come from, just giving back is just who I am. It's just who I am. I just love giving back, motivating kids. Like as you just mentioned, in the 6th grade, I actually saw your writing. And I was like, man, because I used to write every day. So I was like, man, this young lady right here is going to be something special. Like she has to. But I think us as the God has given us a platform of influence. We just got to start planting seeds of greatness inside of people that it might not mature at that time, but if you plant a seed today, it might not become, you plant a seed today, it might not become a tree today. But one of these days, if you keep planting, fruit will come up that tree. And I just get excited every time I just go back and hear kids and say, you encourage them to do better and do better. I think like I was on a meeting this summer. They said, what it is about giving life. I said, just because I help someone give and make their life better, that helped me live my life longer. So I think that's a privilege to help somebody else live a better life.
Did you see yourself as being a mentor at all? When did that realization happen for you?
To be honest with you, I never came to grips with it as of right now, as of today. I think if you call yourself a leader, then you're not a leader. I think other people had to tell you that you're doing those type of things because really, I just wake up in the morning time, so I never just think. Really, as of right now, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. But so many people just on just this morning, there's a young man that I coached in college. He said that, Coach, I think I want to give up. He's incarcerated right now. I said, hey man, don't start counting your days. He said, I'm almost done, but I think I want to give up. So I said, hey man, stop counting your days and just make your days count. Just follow God and trust God, because most of the time, when you're at the end of your journey, that's when you feel like giving up. That's when the devil come in and say, oh man, you're doing it too long. But right when you come through your breakthrough, God, the devil try to come in and break you down. But I just feel like it's just who I am. I think it's a God-given talent. And I think everybody has a God-given talent. You just got to find your gift. And then your gift will recruit for you. It's like, instances like a podcast like this. Who would have thought a project kid raised up in one family home, raised up on welfare and monetary supplement from the government would be on a podcast with somebody that's a national reporter. I never thought these days, and this was not what I seek out. What I really seek out, I seek God, and God put everything in place for me.
Oh yeah, I can attest to that. It's like when you're doing the work, you're in prayer and you're allowing God to lead you, and you give it all to him and allow him to guide your steps. Anything is possible, anything can happen. And it's interesting because it's like a lot of people say this, tell God your plans, and then he just completely transforms and changes it for you. So with that being said, did you ever see yourself being a coach? Because you've coached middle school, high school, and also on a collegiate level now.
Man, I done coached every sport. To be honest with you, I never saw myself even coaching or doing what I'm doing. But as I look back on my life, I always been a coach. But God had to put me in a position where he had to stir my gift. He had to stir it up. I always been a person that everybody confide in and come talk to. I always be the encouragement. That's all a coach is. A coach helps take you somewhere you can't take yourself. So my thing is, as a coach, a man, I just think like I play a lot of really roles. Like I don't just see myself as a coach. I just see myself as a mentor, a father figure. I think whatever I need at that time, God always make me become that type of person. But that's because of my background, all the struggles and all the things I had to go through. But I understand now that my condition and my conclusion, God was preparing me for where I am now to do these type of things that may have influence on other people. Because these are things that I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. And anything you're passionate about become your purpose. And then it puts you in position to help people. So I'm very passionate about it. It helped me find my purpose. But at the same time, it helped put me in a position so I can help people.
Yeah, you mentioned, growing up in a place where there's limited resources, and having to struggle. Do you think that you had, now in retrospect, that you had to go through those things in order for you to be who you are today, especially to help the kids that you've helped?
man, I wouldn't change anything for the world because think about it. Today's time with all these popular street and kids that want to give up because of certain situations, circumstances, and things like that. I learned the struggle part of it, but I also got the hope part of it. Like God always gave me hope. Like I understood, like, yeah, I might be going through this now, but God doing this. But see, this is what I understand about God. He's a omnipotent God that he always present. It's just like when you walk in the classroom, someone will say, you know how you walk in the classroom when you're young, you always have to say present. In all my situations in life, God was always present. When I was in the project, God was present. When I was living in a one-parent home, God was present. When I even moved to Meridian, God was present. When I went through the thing at Clarksville High, God was present. When I went through the thing with my children, God was present. So my thing is, God is always present. Then he said he's a present help in the time of trouble. Not only trouble, God is with you no matter where you are. So he's a God, like, he got perfect attendance no matter what you're dealing with. Like, even your move to Washington, he was present in the midst of it. You might have fear, but you might have fear, but you had hope. So hope always overcomes fear. So as long as you know you got God on your side and God is with you, and then a lot of times we think God ain't with us. A lot of times we leave God. It's just like I was riding down the road one time, Miss Wright, and I was listening to 106.5 while I was in Clarksville. That station was very clear because I was close to the tower. But I got almost to end of Nolan, and the radio just started staticking. Like I couldn't hear the sound anymore. And the first thought that came in my mind was I was no longer close to the tower. And that wasn't happen when you get away from God, when you no longer can hear him anymore because you get away from the tower. But you got to make sure you stay close and deeply rooted in God, no matter what you're going through, because God will provide for you no matter what it is. And through all my coaching, a lot of people look at my records, and yeah, I had winning seasons, but my most winning season winning to me is help changing life through this little bitty black boy. This God chose, and he ain't had to choose me. Then I was groomed in the womb. Like Jeremiah say, God knew me when I was in the belly. He was scared to go out and speak. God said, I knew you already. I already knew what you. I already knew I was designing you. But the problem is with the resources. Yeah, we came from places with no resources. The long we plugged up in this source. And I was just talking about it this morning. A lot of times, and I'm gonna tell you this story, Leah, and then I get off it. One morning I woke up, I was ironing. I was wondering why my wrinkles wouldn't come out my clothes. I was like, man, what's going on? Like, man, I've been ironing for 30 minutes. Seeing like, man, what's going on? I looked down. I didn't even have it plugged in the wall. So God just get a revelation to me. It's just an iron. It's just a piece of, it's an item with metal on it. If it ain't plugged up in the source, you'll never knock the wrinkles out of your life. And that's what we got to continue to do as coaches. Make sure we teach life skills. No matter you got the resources, you don't. Because if you think about it, even though we might not have had all the resources that we needed. That we wanted. We had everything that we needed.
Yeah.
And you gotta be thankful for the small things first. Because you pay for the few things, then you make you good over me. So you gotta make sure you good with that over there first. And then who knows? Your life can change overnight. Look at me now. I can choose what I want to live, but I came from the project. I ain't stuck there. I ain't stay there. But I ain't no different than nobody that is. And that, I think that's because of my testimony, my story. That what made me so effective. That what made me so much influence. But I always give God all the glory, because if it had not been for the Lord on my side, ain't no telling where I'd be. Because I could have chose some of the same path everybody else.
I mentioned this earlier, and you mentioned this too, that you've won games before. You've also lost games before. What do you think makes? I know you talked about what you defined as winning. But for other folks who are coaching teams who might not have the recipe, so to speak, of how to have a winning season, what are some of the things that you think are important that contributed to the success when it comes to winning games and also earning that championship?
I just got one thing: keep the main thing the main thing. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things be added to you. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. Put God first, and everything else be added to you. I have my shortcomings. I'm not perfect by a long shot. I fall short a lot, but I know I love the Lord, and I think the recipe is putting God first. And then make sure you care. Make sure you have love. Do it, because a lot of kids don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And I think that's the most important thing to me, getting kids to work hard for me. I think, like, a lot of coaches be talking about X's and O's and things of that nature. You can do a lot of X and O. Yeah, it's some strategic things you can do at certain times to make it a better percentage for you to win. But at the same time, it's all about getting those kids to get up and go and believing in you and making them give all they got. And one of these good old days, if they give all they got in between those lines, they're going to give all they got in life. And then what you put in is what you get out.
What do you think is one of the most challenging parts of doing that work?
Society. Society has changed. The way you raise kids now, dealing with young men now. My wife always tell me that I got a little soft the way I do things now. I got to make adjustments and adapt to my environment and understand the way I need to teach them, because you got to coach according to your personnel that you have. And then a lot of kids can't handle that thump anymore like we used to get. But it's still some strategic ways you can use to help get all you need to get out of them. So I think that's about it. I think that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the most challenging thing. You're gonna have some kickbacks too, Ms. Wright. Some kickbacks, and kids not gonna buy in. And one of the most challenging thing to me, I try to save and save everybody. I try to save everybody. I remember I was at the Tacoma Agriculture High School, Aggie. One of my young men got killed. I brought him to my house. I tried to do everything I could possible. One morning I woke up, they told me he got killed. And that was one of the most devastating things in my life, because I was like, man, what I could have done. Mm-hmm. But God told me, you did all the things that I wanted you to do. You're not in charge, I am. So I did with this for a long time. But I realized, even the Bible says, he wished that none should perish, but hell has enlarged itself. So he don't want nobody to go to hell, but hell has enlarged itself. So people are going. So I just try to make the right decision, do things out of love, and try to do the best thing. But that's one of the most challenging things, to try to change the mindset, because the only way you can change the way they act, you got to help change the way they think. And that's one of the hardest things. People don't want to change the way they think because of generational. Some of these things are generational. So it just got to be something within you and inside of you to help change the generational curse. That's one of the most challenging things while coaching young men and women. Yeah,
you just spoke of a devastating time in a tragedy, which I know affected you and also the team and that person's peers. How did you get through that? How did you help the team get through that time?
I just actually talk about the way life is. Life, we all gonna die. We don't determine the way we die. But I actually tell them about real life and choices that you make. Certain choices that you make along the way can cause you to be in a certain situation. We talk a lot about choices. That's why I had to move him in my house. Try to do different things with him, a strategic thing, like go buy him clothes for school and things that need to show him some love. But he had been in that situation for so long. Then he had been in this situation about 17 years. I couldn't change it in 17 days. Right. So he ended up getting caught up in a situation just like a lot of kids have. But I just pray and hope one day I can just help change one, to help change their path, and hope I lead them success.
Well, you have. I'm here to tell you, you have. I see on Facebook all the time just how much support and love people show you, and memories they have of when they play for you or in class or whatever it is. So I know for a fact that you've touched a lot of people. I know now you're coaching men's basketball at Kemper County,
right?
High school, which is a transition from college basketball a little bit. Why do you think this move in your career made the most sense to you? And how are you preparing for the transition?
I'm not preparing for the transition. The transition had already been prepared. Mm-hmm. God already knows where you're going before you get there. I just had to come here. But to go from college to high school, it was a big transition for me. being able to recruit the type of players you want coming in, the skill level that you wanted. Now you just get a group of kids. But the other side, the most important thing about that, all of it, I think I'm really back where I belong, the teaching part. In college, they already where they need to be, almost. But back down here, I'm help building a foundation, help change lives before they get out to be grown men. So I thank God for the path that I took. I don't be honest with you, I wouldn't change it for the world. I thank God for Kemper County, and I'm in the right spot. We had a little rough season this year, but we did make it to the championship game in the district championship. Got put out first round. It wasn't my expectation. Never saying in high school whether I lost in the first round or didn't win 20 games. But as I look back on it, if God would have gave it to me then, I probably wouldn't depend on him now. So just because I got to stay humble, hungry, and thirsty, because I know my origination, not my destination, because of my determination. So you remember that quote, don't you? Yeah. So I know I'm not going to stay where I am. I just got to be determined to get where I'm trying to go and keep on trusting God. I got to trust him when I can't trace him.
Oh, yes. We mentioned earlier a number of times being from a place of, again, persistent poverty, limited resources, not a lot of economic opportunities, a lot of, places for growth and advancement. And I know for a lot of Black folks, a lot of, young Black men and young Black females, sports is usually their only way out, so to speak. Did you ever want to play sports on a professional level? And when it comes to the conversation about sports being the only way out, what do you talk to or teach your players about that? Should there be a plan B? Should they have their options open?
A lot of times, the reason why you say sports is your only way out because you had a big vision and open mind to something else. If you teach that sports is the only way out, that's the only thing you have. But when we teach sports is not the only way out, but sports is an avenue out, but sports can teach you how to get out in other areas. Then, because I teach life. Whatever you give on that floor, you're going to give it in life. So I don't care if you play basketball the rest of your life, because only 7% of individuals going to play college basketball in the world, 7% each year, only 7%. So not a lot of people going to make it playing sports. But coming from that poverty-stricken England, like I'm talking about, like Clark, where we're from, sports was my way out. I'll be honest with you, before I graduated college, I didn't know anybody in my family had graduated college before me. I don't remember. I don't know them. So it was my way out. So that's the way that I can come back and teach kids to say, this is one of the ways out. And I know it can get you out, but this is not the only way out. Now, playing professionally, I think I could have. But coming from the background which I came from, I didn't have enough tools in my toolbox. I was gifted to play basketball, but my mind hadn't grown to the same spot my body was, my skill level was. So I thank God I did, because my testimony there, I went and played ball. I made All-State in Clark, did it at Kemper Community College. I was a pretty good high school kid. I went to Kentucky, had a good junior year. Then a kid came in as a new coach. I didn't get kicked off the team because I took where I was from to where I was. Because now you got to start thinking about your talent won't take you where your character can keep you. My character couldn't keep me there because only my talent got me there. And through that experience, I can go tell somebody about you got to have your mind right. Ain't nobody gonna put up with you just because you can dribble. Ain't nobody gonna put up with you just because you can jump. Because a lot of time when we teach kids that sports is the only way out, when they reach a point where somebody go use them up as in sport, they end up right back where we from. Most of them do. Yeah. Because they count the discipline part of it, the hard work part of it, because somebody told them their talent was gonna take them there instead of their character gonna keep them there. And I try to teach character first. Talent gonna come because God gave you the gift. But your character, that will help you get in. Yes. Just experience like the two kids that in the league now. One Tavis Gray and Elton Jenkins. Their character. Because it was somebody better athletically than them. But their character, Pro Bowlers now. And that's a blessing. They from the same hometown. But so see what gives me so much hope, Miss Wright, don't come telling me that just because you deal with this, you can't make it. If one person make it, we all can make it.
Most definitely. For the people who are listening, this is important. You have to have more than talent. You have to have soft skills. You have to have character. I want to move in this direction because I know we're coming close to time, unfortunately, because I've been enjoying this conversation. But as you've looked over your career, if you have, if not, just take a moment of reflection right now. What is your proudest moment, or do you have a proudest moment? And is there anything that you wish you could do over?
You know, I try not to live with a lot of regrets. But one of the things I wish that I could do over, if I had to do anything over, you know, a lot of times when you're growing on your professional side, you tend to focus more on your professional side instead of focus on the whole realm of everything. Yeah. I was always gone. I was always doing something. But on the other side of it, I can look at it both ways. But if I went out doing all the things that I was doing, we never could live the lifestyle that we live in now. Mm. So the regret that I may have, let's see what regret I may have. I don't know. I'll come back to that. But one of my proudest moments, my mom came to one of my games. My mom came to a game in Tennessee. That was one of my proudest moments. Just look up there and just see my mom in the stands, just so proud of her young boy. You know what I mean? And what makes me so proud of, like, when I was younger, a lot of people say that I was going to be this, I was going to become this, I was going to do this, I was going to do this. But I can look in the mirror now. All of them lied because they didn't know who God was. See, that's why I understand that God can turn your whole situation around. Yeah, I could have been on the path of destruction, but now God got me on the path of devotion. So it had to start off like that to show somebody how good God is. You know what I mean? Like, if God didn't have to help my situation out, I couldn't praise him. I couldn't glorify him. I couldn't worship him. But just because he changed little old me and changed the path in which I'm going on. And that's one of my proudest moments. But something that I regret, I don't live life with regrets. If I messed up, let it move on. You know what I'm saying? The just man falls 7 times, but he get back up. So a lot of regrets I don't have. So I messed up some, but that's part of life.
Most definitely. I also mentioned earlier that the foundation on which I stand on and in which I do my work comes from people, passion, and purpose. Those three things are essentially the backbone for why I became a journalist and why I'm doing so many other things, like having these sort of conversations. When you hear those 3 words, people, passion, purpose, what comes to mind?
Passion is energy that drives you to your purpose, that puts you in a position to have influence for people. I'm a passionate guy. And that I'm passionate is my purpose. My purpose is to help people. I want to help change lives through my story. But my influence, I just get a joy. I just had chills in my body. So when you said something about passion, like, I already jumped to my feet, like, man, let's go, man. I'm ready. So I was just, but I just understand what passion is. I'm passionate about people. I love people. And that's part of my purpose. This is something that I can do free. Yeah, I've been doing it over 20 years. But I thank God for giving me the opportunity for doing 20 years. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about giving people me. Sometimes I get in trouble for that because I try to give you all me and I expect all of you back. But life don't work like that. You just respond for what you do. But purpose, passion, and people with influence, it helps ignite something inside of me to say and generate something inside of me. Like it cultivate. It change daily. but my passion never changed. My purpose never changed. The people may change that I have influence on, but my purpose and passion will always be the same.
So what's next for Coach Stringer?
I don't know what's next. I'll just let God lead this thing now. You know what I mean? So what's next? Man, I'm in the gym every day, rocking the boat. I'm trying to get the kids prepared, we start school Monday. I'm in the gym every day. I'm doing film study right now. I'm just trying to be the best coach I can be and be the best mentor I can be and just be the best person that I can be.
Well, I just want to give you your flowers and thank you for wanting to have this conversation and be in conversation with me. This has been phenomenal. And I know that this conversation will help and touch so many people. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Man, I hope God bless you and all your endeavors and keep doing what you're doing and hold what you got because you headed somewhere. You thank God took you in Washington. You ain't made the White House yet. You just wait. You just wait. Hey, you ain't made it to the pinnacle yet. You just wait. You just getting started. You just tipping the iceberg. You know what I mean? Your condition ain't your conclusion. Hey, God got something bigger and better for you. All you got to do is hold on. And it's a blessing that you're able to do this coming from where we came from. And now we can look back at a little young lady that once was 6th grade, that's planted a seed writing on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Now this podcast is part of the fruit that you can serve the world. But it couldn't happen in the 6th grade. But it can happen June 26th, baby. July 26th. Yeah. God has done it for you. And you don't know this. Everybody don't know that. I ain't gonna tell everybody. But I once told one person that you're familiar with, that you know him like you know you. I said, this kid right here got it. I told him that. And once, if you call him tonight, said, what did Mike always tell you? I said, this young lady got it. I ain't know what got was. Now I see you getting it. So I know you got it.
Yes,
Keep doing what you're doing, girl. I know you got to get off right now. I can talk all day to be passionate and I'll be focused all day.
Latest news, click on her page. She's the new wave. The Aallyah Wright Show gon' lead the way. Passion, purpose, people, flair, uplift one another.